Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. Glad to be with you this morning and every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on our YouTube channel. It is Wednesday, May 15th. Happy CPI Day. Good to be with you. Let's go ahead and go over the numbers, talk about the markets, and answer some of your questions. Let's get started. Okay, first off with the CPI number, month over month. 0.3% versus 0.4% actual. That actually beats expectations. Core consumer prices rise 0.3% month over month versus the estimate 0.3. That's in line. Consumer prices increase 0.3% month over month, like we stated. Retail sales were unchanged in April. Estimated was up 0.4%. Here it is from the Bloomberg terminal. Again, the thing that stood out here where the market actually went higher was really on this month over month beating the expectation. If you remember PPI yesterday, that was actually hotter than expected, but we actually had downward revisions for the past month. Didn't get any revisions for this last CPI number. We did get some revisions downward in terms of retail sales. So retail sales is cooling, getting some demand cooling, inflation cooling, unemployment. Let's see if that ticks up a little bit tomorrow. Looks like the Fed is trying to get what they want, which is, of course, lower inflation. And the best way to do that is to kind of lower demand. And how do you lower demand? Well, less people are working, less people are shopping, less people are shopping, less need for having workers to work in those stores. Inflation comes down. But again, we'll see step by step as we go. Okay, so let's take a look here. Dow futures are up 142 points. NASDAQ is up 81. The S&P is up 0.46%, and the Russell's up 1.12%. The dollar is below 105. Like I stated before, we needed to break below 105 for us to rally higher, which we are so far. The CPI number, again, the expectation was expected that we would move higher in stocks because we expected the dollar and yields to come down, which they are. 4.367% on a 10-year basis. The VIX is down 3.28%, below 13. Crude oil is down 0.40%. We had a nice private API number. That's the crude build. Nice demand, our actual crude draw. So let's see if that translates to higher crude prices as we go along. But it is red right now. Gasoline futures are slightly green. Gold is slightly up 0.70%. Silver is up 2%. Copper was up a lot higher earlier. I do have FCX contracts. They are green. You can see with their flat close yesterday, but it is green this morning. I have the 55 calls there. We did take GSK, GlaxoSmithKline. It is now flat this morning, but again, just wanted to reiterate to everybody, we caught that. That was a great trade for everyone to get. I had to kind of make sure that everyone got it. They didn't probably catch the same price that we signaled out, which was 60 cents. Some of them probably caught 70, 75 cents. Everyone's happy. Everyone caught it. That makes me happy. Dollar yen down 124 pips, 155.20. That's because of the dollar. Euro dollar is up 34 pips. Dollar Canadian dollar down 24 pips. Bitcoin is up 3.7%, of course, because of the dollar. So that's a good sign. A little bit of risk on, as we know, as markets are pushing higher. Ethereum is up 2% this morning. And there is your rundown. Let's go to the S&P. All right, S&P 500 futures. NASDAQ composite yesterday hit all-time highs. So more than likely, we're going to hit all-time highs again for that. But not NASDAQ futures. A lot of people confuse what NASDAQ futures are. So I really want to reiterate what this is. There's a difference between this number, NASDAQ composite, and that number. So I want you guys to always remember this. NASDAQ futures, NQ, what you trade is very similar, or is actually the same as QQQ, the NASDAQ 100. This is the NASDAQ 100 futures. It's very liquid, as we know, a lot of volume, but it's not the same as NASDAQ composite. So a lot of people were probably confused yesterday saying, what do you mean NASDAQ all-time highs? NASDAQ futures isn't at all-time highs. QQQ itself is not at all-time highs. No, but the NASDAQ composite is. So make sure I want to reiterate that. Again, we still have more to go to hit all-time highs. The recent highs is around 18,541. What do we do here is really a question. I want to see the open. Again, there's no rush to do anything. If you were long overnight, would you sell, take profit, or would you hold? That's really the question. So if you're a trader and you're already thinking this way, and you're like, I'm going to take my positions, whether it's Apple calls, FCX calls, whatever you have for overnight action, you're probably going to sell in the morning. So what do you think the market's going to do? More than likely, we'll pull back a little bit on some profit taking post CPI. So again, we're right at a point now of kind of where we're neutral. Could we actually tap those all-time highs? I mean, we're about 177 points away at this moment. We're at 18.5. So the risk reward, yes, obviously we have a little more, but what more good news can we get? Nvidia does report next week, but we'd have to wait for that. But we'll see if these gains hold. I do expect the market to stay green. 5,300 S&P was my target. Now, again, it did reject. So the question is, how much can we go? If we are expecting the bull case, we break above 53.33, 5,400 is your next target. That would be the bottom end of this channel here. Again, it's still a breakout. Nothing has changed. You're above every major moving average. At this point, you're probably looking at, well, if I want to go long, 53.33. Right. So that could be the possible double top. But as of right now, I don't think there's much to do until we actually open. Let's see. FCX. Again, nice push. 55 is our strike. If we go in the money, we're looking great because it is for June. And let's bring up Apple. Apple on the 4-hour. Is it pulling back a little bit? 187 something. Yeah, it's green. 188.30 would be the recent highs. And again, 190 is my strike on those. Still have that downward gap, but looking good with that CPI number. So let's see if we crack 188.30. And then one more is Bank of America. Oh, let me keep FCX here. Let's do BAC here. BAC. Goldman Sachs hit new all-time highs yesterday. JP Morgan hit above $200 yesterday. BAC is just flat. And you can see the trend is higher. Nothing has changed. We just may run out of time. We need to get to 40 like ASAP. And it's for this week expiry. So I still like Bank of America. I'm just worried that even the time that we bought, it's still not enough. So I do expect Bank of America to hit 40. So I'm kind of like, man, do we get into the 40s and buy more time? But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's see how we open. All right, let's get to the questions. Thoughts on ARKK and Palantir? I think Palantir is great. ARKK is very risky, as we know, Kathy Wood's ETF. So I would like Palantir more. Good morning, Carlos. Could you do 0 DTE options for SPY and NVIDIA? Well, there wouldn't be 0 DTE options. That would be opening it on Friday because there's no days left, or end of Thursday. It is still Wednesday, but no, I would not trade 0 DTEs on Apple or NVIDIA. No. FCX, I'm heavy. Was wondering what your target is for today. 55 in the money. And again, you have until June. And that's going to hit because copper is breaking out and FCX should move higher with, again, the dollar to go down. Is it too late to enter Apple? It is flat this morning. Well, we were flat overnight, so I don't see a problem of you getting in. No, you can go ahead. Good morning. What are the levels for XOM and SLV? How should we proceed with these trades? SLV, I don't have any SLV open, but XOM I do. Look at the 4-hour. Again, 4-hour does include aftermarket hours or pre-market trading. So 117.90, again, above the 200 on the 4-hour. And again, still running that cup and handle. It is for June. Give it time. We still got to get above 120. That's why we bought time. SLV, I don't know which one you're speaking of, but again, 27 would be the target on SLV. I do expect it to move higher. But again, I didn't trade anything really recently in terms of that. If we break above 28.04, yeah, sure, we can target 30 and move on as we go along. But as for right now, I don't have any SLV exposure, even though I still like SLV or silver and gold to move higher. Yes. And there's your note. Right at this moment, anything that stands out to me. Let's see. Okay, hold on a second. Got more and more. How's Shopify looking? Shopify still doing that base down there. Let's do the 4-hour. Yeah. Still got a gap to fill here. Still got a gap to fill right here. If we get above 64.86, we can talk about targeting 77 or around that area. If you break below 54, you got to target 49. So you're right in between. Very neutral. Nothing you could do there. I would sit that one out for now. All right. Got our stuff ready to rock. Let's make it a great Wednesday. And I will catch you guys on the live market blog on our Discord. Right on the bottom on the scroll, gives you all the information to sign up. We'd love to have you there. And we'll see you soon, guys. Cheers all.